The execution is the issue and has been all year, but we trust in the process. And I think that's probably the push and pull at the moment, is if the process is right, the execution is off, is the process right, would be the other...
It's not quite right. It's not quite right. But he's right about execution. We'll get to Carlton's goal kicking in a second. This is big club syndrome what Carlton are suffering at the moment, and they're talking a lot and we're talking a lot. That's the plight of a big club in Melbourne. This game, the heat on Carlton has come very quickly, and it's hot. Now, whether it's real hot or it may be real hot, we're simmering away, Gerard. Sunday's result will either turn it up a fair bit, which is unfair because they're playing the best team in the competition, and if they have a bad loss, man, it's going to get hotter next week. Hotter next week. I understand Luke Sayers might be talking next week to various media outlets, so regardless of the result, so that'll be something to look forward to. But everything's been questioned by everyone outside of Carlton, but Patrick Cripps today, like Vossi has been, there's a bit of calm. There's a bit of calm. It's not as bad as what you think it is. They've lost 4 out of 5. They beat West Coast handsomely, but everyone's beaten West Coast. Had an opportunity to beat the Dogs on the weekend and they just didn't maintain the rage to the end. They were good on the weekend, Gerard. We've agreed to that.
They were good for a half, yeah.
No, they played good football for a half, but they defended stoutly for a half. Yeah,
so that's part of my query around the process is maybe part of this is by design. They have given up. For me, they're a team out of balance. They've given up too much of their offensive ball movement to build that defensive integrity, and it'll be the steady flow of that coming back in, and it materialises in they don't quite trust what they're doing off half-back, so they're slow.
But they
protective. The growing pains are, we've seen them, they're helter-skelter footy, and what that leads to is, I think this is a clear plan. Let's build this so that the next time we rise, it's sustainable.
I'll give you... OK, no, I accept all that. I accept all that, but they had to defend. They had to defend last week and they did. And they have to do it again this week. They've got another major issue. And when this happens, this puts every club under the spotlight. Their best players aren't getting it done, Gerard. They're just not getting it done. Patrick Cripps, 1 tackle, 1 centre clearance last week, 20-odd possessions. Not good enough, Paddy. Paddy's not the player that he was last year, so he knows he needs to live. Harry Mackay has kicked 21-22 and had 56 shots at goal, Gerard.
Yes, which is worth just emphasising. So 43 scores from 56 shots. 43
scores from 53 shots. And we talk about money. No one else does, but the media and the fans do. He's an $800,000 player, Gerard. Carlton have got him to 2030. Harry Mackay has to fix himself because Carlton can't have a player for the next 7 bloody years kicking the ball like that. It'll turn out to be one of their worst signings, long-term signings they've made, or Harry has got to somehow get through these mental demons, and he's paid to get through these mental demons. He's got to fix it. He has lost games for Carlton. That is a fact. Now, the other players have played bad, but Harry's had the opportunity, ball in hand, to win games of football, and he hasn't. That hurts Carlton. That hurts Vossi. That helps pour the scorn and the vitriol and the pointing of finger at Michael Voss and the administrators at the club. So their best players, Jacob Wiedering, hasn't not been the player that he has in recent years. So they've got... one of the best centre-half-backs in the league's not the player he was. One of the best forwards as posed in the league can't kick goals. And Paddy Cripps, their best player, one of the best players in the comp, he's not playing at the level that where you're expected to and we were accustomed to. And that's a major issue why Carlton have bought.
In that set of shots at goal that we clipped up there, there's anxiety at play there. There's anxiety over approach. There's no plan or surety in it. And I think the overall play, they need their circuit breaker. It could come or it could get tighter and tighter and tighter.
Do you think Harry should talk about it and unload?
No, I think he should solve it.
Well,
No, I don't. I don't think torturing yourself publicly with it until you've got a solution. I think you can talk about these things in retrospect. Once it's resolved, then you can talk about the struggles. But I can't see the point in agonising over it while you're still fighting.
Yeah,
your
but see,
independence.
I've always had a belief in life. If you've got a problem and you share it with people, and the problem it seems a little bit better than what it is internally.
Yeah, but I think if you share it in this environment currently, it just becomes the next.
It can't get any worse, mate.
Well,
it cannot get any worse
I don't
than
think
what
we
is happening
as a collective
now.
are going to guide Harry back to.
But it's up to Harry. He's got to fix it.
He does.
And Carlton have got to fix it.
What about the demeanour of the coach, where you listened to Nathan Buckley and your mind has been drawn here?
Yeah, I
to
thought
write
that.
this for tomorrow's
I've written a piece. I thought it was pretty insightful from Bucks. It's a little bit of wisdom from a person who has lived what Michael Voss is living, and we can all talk about it, and everyone can talk about it. But if you haven't been in those shoes, you don't exactly know exactly what happens and what you're feeling. So I thought it was really, really wise wisdom from Bucks, and just sort of extenuating there. Every Carlton supporter looks at Michael Voss and says, why can't the team play like you played? That can't happen. Name a coach that their team's played like. It doesn't happen. But what they hope to do is instill in that playing group a little bit of what Michael Voss was of a player. But Voss's demeanour this year is calm. He hasn't invited panic through him. And that a lot of players do that. And a lot of coaches do that. But name a coach, Gerard, who has flattened his players in a press conference. Not many.
No.
Not many.
Usually when you knock the players over, you risk losing them.
You're
and
done.
when you're not winning, you don't want to be losing the players.
Now, they've got to be together. You've got to stick fat.
Yep.
You've got to be together.
So there are certain truths that are worth telling, but flattening the players to appease, there is no appeasing people other than winning at the moment.
Yeah, they do. But they've got to be harder to play against. They just do. Whether Michael Voss is under pressure or not, we can talk about Mackay, we can talk about anyone. As a group, they've been too easy to play against. Last week, I know everyone thought it was boring. I was captivated by that first half because they were defending. They coached for one. Now he's got to do it again. They win on Sunday, Gerard.
Yeah.
And they're all changes.
Absolutely.
All of it.